Welcome back. And so there's quite a lot to chew on, to reflect on, especially as far as the state of the nation is concerned. We've, come up to a good start with the newspaper review, but joining us now is the senator representing Anambra Central Senatorial District, Senator Victor Umeh. Senator Umeh, good morning and welcome to the morning brief.
Good morning, Bukola and Kayodan and Geoffrey. Good morning, Nigerians.
On this side of the divide, we're spoiled for choice. There's so much happening. Just yesterday was a very sad moment with the military honors given to the commander who was killed in Borno State and 6 others. Of course, there's also the Ariwa Consultative Forum drawing attention to the challenge of insecurity and seeking a declaration of a state of war. Perhaps we should start with the matter of national security, Senator Umeh. I'd like you to weigh in on it and perhaps give us an insight into the disposition of the Senate, especially against the backdrop of the position expressed by the leader of the Senate in recent times, who has told us that this is all politics, and as soon as the elections are concluded, you would see a drastic reduction and there would be practically no more reports about a bomb blast. Is that, from where you sit also as a senator, is that how you view the challenge of insecurity?
Well, first of all, I would like to express my deep condolences and sympathy to the families of these gallant officers who lost their lives in the lines of duty. Yesterday was very painful to look at very senior
we're having challenges getting through to Senator Victor Umeh. We hope that that will be resolved as soon as possible. But it's a very, very important conversation, and would like to also, get the thinking of the Senate as far as that is concerned, beyond the condolences and beyond, the views expressed by the Senate President. What would be the intervention of the Senate as it plays its role, of, checking the executive? Are we going to be demanding more accountability in the funding, allocated to defense? Senator Umeh, we understand that you're back now. I would like you to continue in your line of thought.
Yes, I said that yesterday was a very bad day for us, watching on television very gallant officers being led to rest at the cemetery in Maiduguri. This continuously brings to the fore our inability to secure the lives of Nigerians. I do not want to begin to discuss our failures in this regard, because it's been a very incessant and recurring problem. Killings of Nigerians have continued to happen. And at the Senate in 2018, we did set up a National Security Summit here in Abuja, where all the officers of the armed forces and the other stakeholders came here to submit papers, all of them, discussing the way to protect Nigerians. After that summit, the report of that summit was made available to government, and killings have continued, including things that were discovered to border on sabotage in the military operations, because everybody came. DSS, Nigerian Army, Nigerian Navy, Nigerian Air Force, they all submitted memoranda. But waiting for government to act on the memoranda and give us a secure nation has been elusive. And aside from that, you see that reasons for killings have been given different colorations. People fight people because of religious beliefs. Others kill. Banditry, for example, because of the harsh economic realities, people have taken to kidnappings for ransom. So Nigerians' security has been completely compromised. The problem we have now that we're discussing is that very senior officers are being killed in the lines of duty. And one will ask, all the monies we have appropriated for security of lives and property in Nigeria, what happens to the money? We've been giving defense and security the largest chunk in our budget appropriations every year. And these monies run into trillions, sometimes 5 trillion. And if you want to see a change in the approach to fighting insecurity, you will continue to be disappointed because every day people are killed through all kinds of means. Brigadier generals, this is not the first brigadier general that was killed. The other one, Umeh, was killed. And we see these things in the news. And if you wait for the security chiefs to give us reasons for the killing of officers who are supposed to be with men in operation, they just fish them out and kill them. Why are they killed? What is the outcome of the investigation? So the whole thing is a mess. The country is diving into a situation where everybody is afraid of his life. And today, government should sit up because when these things happen and nobody takes responsibility or you send condolence messages, it does not augur well. This one is killing of our officers. What about the citizens that are being slaughtered and killed on a daily basis across Nigeria? So the government should rejig its approach to defense and security. And yesterday, the Brigadier Brahman has been given national honor. The national honor cannot bring out anybody from the grave. And if you think that when you say you are giving somebody national honor for being killed in the line of duty, that is not what the family will want to hear. They want their breadwinners and their cherished ones to be alive. So we have to protect our officers and our men who are daily risking their lives to protect and save this country. Sometimes I wonder and I ask, this area in Borno State where these things happen regularly, apart from other killings in other parts of Nigeria, this Borno State has been a sore point over time. Does it mean that Nigeria does not have army that can cover Borno State? This is a war. This is a war levied on Nigeria by the fighters, the insurgents. Can't Nigeria mobilize men, both air and land forces, to go and clean up that place? It's been there since 2014, even before 2014. All kinds of things happen here. And this is an enclave, a place that you can define in terms of territory. Can't we mobilize? Are you telling me that if it's another serious country, that a part of the country will be taken over by insurgents, and there's nothing you can do to free your people?
Senator Umeh, so much to follow up on from
yes.
your initial answers. Either it's funding, the memoranda that was submitted on security. But I'd like you to weigh in on the comments by the leader of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, that this is all politics. It's a distraction. And after the elections are over, we would see a reduction or, in fact, an end to the challenge of insecurity. Does he know something that Nigerians do not know? Or are you also aware of the information that he has that has, necessitated those views amid the killings of Nigerians?
Well, I don't want to join issues with the Senate President. What is important is that you don't politicize insecurity. By making that type of statement, he's making it to look like it is politics that is responsible for the mass killings of Nigerians. Last year, there was no election. How many people were killed last year? 2 years ago, there was no election. How many people were killed in Nigeria? These are daily occurrences that have nothing to do with election. That election is by the corner, and you want to take this to heap it on pending election. That's why people are being killed. I don't believe that. The other one is that last year, the Senate resolved to have a security summit sometime in December last year. I know that when that issue was raised, I agitated to oppose that summit because we had summit in 2018 and it didn't help us. I'm happy that in the end, the Senate have not been able to hold that security summit. We have to look internally and see how to use our security apparatus to be able to defend and protect Nigerians. This thing has nothing to do with the election. And if he says that after elections, killings will stop, these killings that have been going on since 2023, the election ended. Check the number of Nigerians that have been killed between 2023 and today, that we don't even have any election. Election is just by the corner. So I don't want us to continue to politicize our failures. We have to accept responsibility that we have not been able to provide security to Nigerians. And the government of the day should be able to accept this as an arduous task that it must address. There's no point trying to use something that is not plausible to cover our failures. Every time in the Senate, when people are killed across Nigeria, in the Benue, in the Plateau, everywhere, and so on and so forth, consistently, I've been rising to speak to condemn the scourge of killings going on in this country. They have to go and nip the reasons for these killings in the bud. The Plateau has always been a flashpoint. The Benue has always been a flashpoint. Borno has always been a flashpoint. It has spread to Kebbi, Niger, and other parts of Nigeria. So this insecurity is something nobody should take to politics, because it has been with us perennially over the years.
All right, distinguished. Let's bring
Yes.
in politics now. Maybe we'll have time. We'll go back to national security and then the economy. But let's talk about politics. And my first question, and it's a direct question, with the litigation still pending at the Supreme Court, and of course the one at Justice Emeka Nwite's court has been adjourned sine die because of the pending hearing at the Supreme Court. Do you really see the ADC meeting up with time to fill up or field candidates in this election? I ask that because we've seen this scenario play out with the PDP, and look at what the state of the PDP is.
Well, the truth is that the judiciary should serve democracy in Nigeria. It is the judiciary. All these problems you are seeing are created by the judiciary. The courts and the laws we have forbidden courts in Nigeria from dabbling into internal affairs of political parties. It is there through case laws. The Supreme Court has severally ruled that no court shall have anything to do with internal affairs of political parties in terms of leadership and things like that. The Electoral Act of 2026, which we amended in February this year, assented to by the President, in section 83(5) of this current act, it says that no court in Nigeria shall have jurisdiction to entertain any suit or matter concerning internal affairs of political parties. It is written here, and this is the law of Nigeria. But every day you see judges dabbling into matters concerning internal affairs of political parties. And when these things happen, the apex body, that is maybe the National Judicial Council, will continue to watch as if they are not in Nigeria. Judges will come and create problems and confusion in political parties, and will begin to discuss them. What are cases pending in the courts of Nigeria that border on internal affairs of political parties? What are they doing there? So it is the judiciary that will come out hard with a hammer to discipline judges who do not respect the laws of Nigeria. If the Supreme Court says no court shall entertain a matter bordering internal affairs of political parties, what are high court judges doing in such matters? The statute says so. I've read it out to you now, section 83(5) of this act. No court in Nigeria, no court, when he says no court, he includes the Supreme Court. No court shall entertain any suit that borders internal affairs of political parties. Now, Justice Umeh has obviously dabbled into ADC to destroy ADC. It is a hatchet job that he's doing to destroy ADC. His brother judges, they know that this is forbidden. You cannot do that. And many judges are doing the right thing. The Federal High Court here in Abuja, presided over by Justice Joyce Abdul-Malik, has declared jurisdiction on all matters concerning leadership disputes in political parties. And her judgments are there for everybody to see.
Distinguished,
across the state,
I know that you made a statement, and this is a strong allegation. I don't know whether you have proof that he's doing a hatchet job, because I don't want to impugn or want to impugn on it. Just hold on, sir. A case is in front. Just for a moment, sir. My apologies.
You don't have jurisdiction to do a matter. If you go there, you must go there with an ulterior motive.
I'm saying that, yes, he has entertained the case. In fact, as a matter of fact, the fact of the case is that there's an originating summons with relief sought. And then there were injunctive relief also sought. What he did in that particular case was to ask David Mark to say, come and show cause why this injunction should not be granted. And that case, an interlocutory appeal has made its way to the Supreme Court as we speak, which will be determined, I think, on the 22nd. That's why I'm saying, yes, he may have entertained the case, but saying he's doing a hatchet job, meaning like he's being influenced to do the job.
Why?
Don't you think you're stretching it too far?
Why did they? No, I'm not. You people should allow Nigeria to be cleaned up. When people do the wrong thing, don't quote it and begin to embellish it with this kind of argument. Justice Joyce Abdul-Malik is in the Federal High Court. Once she sees that matter, she dismisses it. Jurisdiction is the only thing that will empower a court to go into a matter. And it is very easy for you to know whether the court has jurisdiction or not. It doesn't matter whether you're asking somebody to come and show cause. Once a process is brought to your court and you read it, you read the claims and relief sought, you will see what is the crux of that matter. If it centers on internal affairs of a political party or leadership dispute, you have no reason to even hear the case. Anytime the matter is called up, you strike it out and decline jurisdiction. So if you keep it and begin to ask somebody to come and show you cause, when you have seen that dispute is about who is the leader of this party, who is the chairman, who is the secretary, then you are opening the door for this kind of situation that has arisen in ADC. If you don't want to get involved in anything that is unholy and unacceptable, something that is not justiciable, you wash your hands off from day one. So this idea of calling somebody to come and show you cause why you should not make an order in a matter you clearly do not have jurisdiction is deliberate. That's what I'm telling you. So we don't ask us to choose the words we use to describe erring judges that try to go into the establishment of political parties. Look at what they have done, turned ADC into through this process. They've left the ADC leaderless. How can you imagine that a registered political party that is a corporate body that has rights to perpetual succession can now stay without a chairman, no officer in the party? It is not what the law contemplates. And it's by making these interferences that you create this confusion. So we don't want to continue to indulge judges with nice words when they know that what they're doing is against their conscience and against the nation. ADC, for example, you've seen how the INEC has relied on judicial pronouncement, even though they misinterpreted it with mischief, to say that we no longer have a chairman or secretary or officers at all, that they have uploaded in their portal in the past 1 year relating with them. Election is just by the corner. And then 7 days to the commencement of congresses that they were given duly statutory notices. They came out on April 1 to say that they don't recognize these people again. And to show you that these are things that are planned to kill this party, the INEC chairman still came out in the media chat to begin to say that if ADC goes on to have their congresses and convention, that they will risk not having their candidates recognized in any election. He cited the Zamfara state, he cited Plateau state. what is the reason for him to come to begin to make these explanations, to scare the party, to halt all its operations, if it is not intended to cripple the party? Yet, the Electoral Act says that when the commission is given the due notice, 21 days notice, for these exercises to take place, they are mandated to go and monitor and observe these congresses, conventions, and primaries. And the ADC fulfilled this requirement of Section 82(1), gave them notices on time, gave them the details of the congresses, and even officers that will conduct these things. They have it. Now, coming out down to say, we cannot do this, you don't have officers again, is a deliberate plan to remove ADC from the election. Everybody should be in doubt about this. But the good thing is that the good thing is that we have had our congresses successfully.
Right. We
have had our convention successfully. And Section 82(6) says, failure of any political party to give INEC the 21 days notice as contained in the Section 82(1) shall have the congresses, the primaries and conventions declared invalid. So once you give notices to INEC,
all right,
whether they come or they do not come, those things can never be invalidated.
Right. So just quickly, yes. It sounds like you have lost some faith in the judiciary, and I want to know, is it fair to blame maybe the judiciary solely for this, or even INEC, when even within the ADC, we've seen people, the leaders, pulling apart at the centers. We have had Nafi Bala Gombe, now whom a lot of people describe as a traitor within the ADC. We've had Ibe Kachiku, who had raised the alarm from the very start. Mr. Kachiku, rather, who had raised the alarm from the very start. We've had Don Norman Obina now. The group recently said that, well, we're taking charge in the party. We have Honorable Leke Abejide as well. So these are members of your party. These are not members of the judiciary or INEC. People within the party who are saying, well, we don't think things are done the right way. So my question again is it fair to blame the judiciary or INEC when this is coming from within the House?
It is for these reasons that the court has since ruled, Supreme Court, that matters of leadership disputes in political parties shall not be justiciable, because they know that this type of situation have been occurring in the past, where people can be hired to destabilize their political parties. And the courts were inundated with litigations. And for so doing, the judiciary decided from a long time ago that you cannot bring these matters in court, that courts do not answer political questions. Who is their chairman or who is their leader? It's an internal affair within your party. If you look at operation of ADC, look at our convention of 14th April, 2 days ago, you will notice that the whole party is there. Anybody who want to associate with ADC in terms of substance, everybody was there. So where are these people you are talking about? Abeji Deleke, who is in the House of Reps, who is already working for APC, campaigning for President Tinubu to be re-elected, and you are associating him with ADC. Is that what you should be discussing? So all these people that go to court to challenge their party are hired goons. People sponsor them to go and destabilize the party. And that's the wisdom in acting in the Electoral Act in Section 83(5), that no court in Nigeria shall have jurisdiction to entertain any suit or matter that concerns internal affairs of political parties, right, including leadership. So these people who are existing, you are mentioning their names now,
right,
they are loafers.
Okay.
They are not working for their parties. They are agents of destabilization.
Right.
And the court, when they see such people, they'll send them away. Okay, because the statute has barred them from bringing such matters to the court.
So naturally,
it's
my
only
next
when the
question...
court indulges them.
Right.
When the court indulges them, they'll create this confusion you are discussing. They should not be had.
So
if you cannot
my next
resolve
question, naturally,
the party,
Senator,
you resign and leave the party and go another place.
Right. So
yes.
Here goes my next question. So while this hurdle but hopefully has been crossed, because, I mean, the ADC has done its Congress, whether or not it was monitored by INEC. You say you are going ahead with your plans anyway.
It is valid.
There may
we
be
gave them statutory notice.
Right. There may be a much bigger hurdle ahead of the ADC, and I'm sure you're already looking at it, staring you in the face. And that's the selection of the flag bearer of the party. Well, all of the major contenders are speaking now, and I say, well, naturally, it should come to me. I am qualified. I have prepared for this. But we know this is a coming together of the PDP, Atiku Abubakar, the Labour Party, the Obedient, even the APC, whether it's Amechi or Nasir El-Rufai. So these are big names in Nigerian politics. Should the ticket go, for example, to the PDP's Mr. Atiku, former PDP's Mr. Atiku bloc with his supporters, will the Labour Party Obedient bloc, which you're a part of, throw your full weight behind him? That is a major hurdle that people are projecting may tear the ADC apart if not handled well.
Well, I think the first thing to do is to allow ADC to run its activities. All these projections of crisis and inability to nominate a candidate are things that should be left to the party to handle and manage.
No, this is a question of your commitment.
At the convention 2 days ago. It's a question. It's a question of commitment.
Do you commit to support whoever, whether it's Atiku, Amechi, or whoever? Do you commit to support? That's just a question.
Yes, of course, I'm a member of the party. And if we produce a candidate and say this is our candidate, I should support the candidate of the party. I cannot leave the candidate of the party and start running after the candidate of other parties. Those options have been available, and we've chosen to stay together here to see what we can do to rescue the country. So it will be a tragedy if, after all these hurdles and difficulties placed on our way, that we're unable to nominate a candidate everybody will support. And at the convention, speaker after speaker of the presidential aspirants, they committed to this. Even last night, I saw Vice President Atiku Abubakar on Arise News saying that if the party agrees to support any other person, that it will support the person. Why are you thinking that these things are impossible? We are human beings. And
but Senator, we've heard
existential threat.
I apologize. We've heard Obedience say on social media that it's Mr. Peter Obi or nothing. If these primaries don't go that way, then our hands are tied. We might not be supporting. So has this trickled down to the Obedience on the streets, on social media, that wait, if it's Atiku, we are going to support. If it's Amechi, we have to support?
Well, they are expressing their own views. And at best, I would consider them as pressure groups. The same way it is in other interests operating in the party. What is being emphasized is the need, like I saw Rotimi Amechi also say, that the party must find a viable candidate that can win this election for the party. That is the crux of the matter. We cannot be suffering and going through this type of persecution and all that, and at the critical moment, we fail to rise to the occasion. ADC must produce a viable candidate that will win the election for the party. And that is the important thing to emphasize at this stage. When we get to that stage, we will discuss it. Everybody will air his views on who can win the election, because you cannot go to the election with a candidate that will not receive the votes of the Nigerian public. So we have to be mindful of that. And that's what I've been emphasizing over the months, that ADC has the opportunity that is needed. Look at the solidarity the party is amassing at this point. Look at the convention we had. Everything was done to stop that convention. But the people resolutely came from across Nigeria. We couldn't manage the people that gathered here in Abuja.
Yeah,
so
Senator
the party is very potent. And those who want to destroy the party know that this party is on course to changing the situation here.
And
when
as
it comes to nomination,
down,
all these truths will be be addressed. We have to do the right thing.
And that's on the assumption That's on the assumption that all of the issues of litigation will be resolved before the deadline for the primaries. Of course, we've also heard Mr. Peter Obi say on another platform that if the primaries of the party became transactional, that he would leave the party. But let's assume that the litigations are not resolved before the deadline for the primaries. What would be the option of the ADC? If you can answer that in 60 seconds.
I'm a very positive person. The issue of litigation is now before the apex court of Nigeria, the Supreme Court. There is no way by the 22nd of April, the Supreme Court will play with words that internal affairs of political parties are no longer justiciable. They can't say that it is justiciable. The decision they handed in April last year reinforces this. The Electoral Act reinforces it. And it is the final court in Nigeria. So everybody is now waiting on the Supreme Court to say that these courts do not have jurisdiction. And the only thing to do is to throw away the cases and free the democratic space for us to go and face other problems we have, like the one you are now telling us that we'll not be able to nominate our candidates. Let's get away from the legal hula baloo and then go into managing our affairs by ourselves. Let's see who cannot bring a candidate that stands this election for the party and go and win. We cannot throw away the goodwill the party enjoys because so much hope is placed on ADC today. The only thing we need is for the Supreme Court to clean the organ table and come down heavily on the judges who are tarrying with leadership of political parties. They don't have any business dabbling into it. If they hadn't dabbled into it, Amu Peter, who is a professor of law and senior advocate of Nigeria, would have given this show of shame he gave in misinterpreting the order of status quo antebellum. And everybody is watching him. So it is the Supreme Court that will put everybody back online.
All right.
So we're waiting for it next week.
That's confidence in the Supreme Court as against the reservation you had about the decision of the lower court on the matter. But let's see how it plays out. We hope that the Supreme Court does not uphold INEC's position on the interpretation of status quo antebellum.
Nobody can uphold any position.
We'll definitely see how that plays out. April the 22nd is just a week away. So we must anchor at this point. Senator Victor Umeh is a senator representing Anambra Central Senatorial District. Thank you so much, sir, for coming through on this critical conversation. We'll take a moment now. When we return, there is another matter that is brewing in Nigeria's South-South, and it has to do with our collective Commonwealth. Find out what it is after the break.